Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jimmy Kim, and today on episode 16 of Wednesdays with Jimmy, we're going to talk all about events and how events can be a big part of your online marketing, especially with email marketing. All right, guys, so we're here now, and I'm going to talk to you guys about a little bit something different. And, I've got a lot of great reception about the stuff that I teach around email. Obviously, being an email marketer as long as I have, I've come with a lot of knowledge and information when it comes to how I run my email marketing inside of our company. And the information that I'm providing is all about how you can increase your engagement with your email subscribers. We're all taught to build email lists as an internet marketer, but the one thing that people don't talk about as much is after you build your email list. So this week, we're going to start talking about, and I've got it on my screen here, is talking about event-based marketing to increase your engagement and maximize the potential earning that you can do with your email marketing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to my computer right now. I'm going to go and start talking to you on the computer and kind of talk to you about how you can use event-based marketing in your email marketing. Let's go ahead and first start off with what is an event. I'm going to define it right now so I can get you in that mind and mentality when it comes to it. Now, an event is, as you see right here and now, and a thing that happens, especially one with importance. Real simple, right? You go to a concert, you go to a comedy show, you go to someone speaking, whatever it may be. In fact, you can make sure that your event can be a part of your e-marketing or your email marketing. And now, when you think about that, you're probably thinking, how does that really work? Now, remember we talked about this before. There's different ways that you can actually promote your list. And we talked about the types of marketers earlier, the kinds that baby their list, the kinds that run on a schedule, or the ones that hammer down. And it doesn't matter, again, what kind of email marketer you are, as long as you're doing it with purpose. And I'm teaching you something called event-based marketing because it's actually one of the most powerful ways, the ways that I'm able to personally maximize my profit from my email list when I'm promoting a certain item. Now, it's done with precision because you've got to plan this out. You can't just shoot from the hip when it comes to creating an event for your e-marketing. So let's go ahead and say, how does it work with email marketing? So that's probably the first question. And I'm going to show you this little diagram I made. So we've got a start, middle, and end event, right? You walk into the door, that's the start. You go into a concert. So we're going to say in a concert, you start, you walk in the middle, you're listening to the music. The end is when they're like, oh, this is our final song. And this is it. And they end, right? In the same way you can do that with marketing, you will have an introduction, content, and a close. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. What do you mean content? I'm going to teach you how you do the content in a purposeful event-based marketing system. So let's go ahead and let's jump to my fancy dancy paintbrush because I think I explained this better when it comes to a visual game again real quick. So let me go ahead and jump to my fancy dancy paintbrush and we'll start talking. All right, we're here in my fancy dancy paintbrush, and you'll see that I've got a few things drawn out for you already, so it's really easy to see. Now, I wrote day one here, and I'm going to fill this in right now, all right? So I'm building this based on a 7-day sequence today, all right? I'm going to build it on a 7-day. Let's just say you committed to promoting something for a week, and I'm going to show you how to balance it by giving cookies, by giving the value, and giving the ideas behind it, all right? So I actually put this envelope over here on the side because that would be what we call pre-launch or a sequence of warming up your audience. Now, you can do this in a multiple way. I'm going to write that pre-launch, and you can do this, and I do a great job doing this myself, and I see a couple people doing this. Content marketing, you can do it by a preview or like an interview. You can do a couple things here. I'm going to write these here right now for you. So the idea of a pre-launch and what that really means and people take the marketing aspect pretty hard when it comes to a pre-launch, but the reality of things is a pre-launch is very simple. A pre-launch is setting the mindset of your audience. So if I'm going to be promoting something about email tools, for example, my pre-launch idea would have been I would give him a great piece on content that would teach him something about email marketing, something that I wrote or something that I found, something that's great in interview, or I would go out to the author or container or the vendor or whatever and actually interview them or see if they have material that you can show off and engage them with, right? And this is optional. When I wrote this off to the side because it's actually optional, right? This isn't something that you have to do, but I do recommend it when it comes to higher price things. But when it comes to lower price things, I wouldn't be as inclined. So day one starts off and you're introducing the item, right? You're starting off, you're starting the event, you're introducing them, you're talking to them about what they're going to learn about, what it is. And, I believe in full transparency in 2016. So it's very important that you're explaining to them exactly what you're talking about. Then we're going to jump into day 2. So this is going to go right into day 2. And let's go ahead and write day 2 above here. So day 2 is now what I like to call the refresher email. All right. The refresher email is very simple. The refresher email says this. Hey, yesterday I emailed you about a brand new product called, let's just use again Email Tools today. Email Tools, it's a 4-in-1 email engagement app that I'm using in my business that I would love you to check out, blah, blah, blah. And, you should check it out. You can add it, increase your clicks, increase your engagement, and get more sales, right? So you want to go ahead and refresh their mind, day 2, because now let's pretend, again, I'm going to continue to relate this back to a concert. So day 1 would be introduction. Hey guys, the band is coming on stage. Day 2 is day 2 would be kind of like the introduction act, right? What do they call the opener? And the opener is now reintroducing it. So day 1, you got the guy who comes in, the MC Mike guy who comes in. He's like, hey guys, something's coming up, but let me show you this introduction. So day 2 is the opener act is sung now, and they've now said, okay, now the real band is coming, right? So that's one way to look at it. Another way, there's a lot of ways to look at it when it comes down to an event, but let's look at it this way, right? So day 3 is simple. Now, day 3 gets interesting, right? Because day 3 changes the way that you should be looking at that day 3 email. Now, this one is a variable, right? I'm going to put variable day, right? So variable email. And what I mean by variable is you can do a bunch of, remember I talked about being an authority figure, right? Authority figure here. So this is where you would be building anywhere from content marketing, a video, a different angle. And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. This is a cookie element. So I'm going to put a brown little thing right here because to me, this is a day that you need to put a cookie into place. Because a cookie into place by teaching, but by taking them a different angle. So when I write that cookie is basically like this. If I'm introducing it, I've done a great job introducing on day 1. Then on day 2, I teach them a refresher. On day 3, what I'm doing is, hey, here's something, an article or a video or something different that I'm teaching you about the same product. So I'm teaching about email tools. So I may be on day 3 talking about, maybe showing him about how, different ways of engaging. I'm talking about different ways of engaging people in audience or tips to taking them to the audience, right? So then we're going to go off and I'm going to, let me change that back to black here and take them to day 4. All right. So day 4, again, in my opinion, a lot of times, and this can get reversed. Day 4 and 5 can actually be reversed a lot of times. So this is reversible between day 4 and day 5. I'm going to write these day 4 and day 5 here. And I'm going to put day 6 here. So day 4 and 5 can be reversed. I'm going to put this in green so that you guys can see that these 2 days can be reversed on what you want to do between these 2 days. But day 4 and 5 are very simple. Day 4 or 5, one of the 2 days should be what we call a different angle approach. All right. I call this a different angle approach. So you need to check out the way that you've written your emails on your first 2 emails and take a different angle. So if I'm talking about email tools today, again, the first angle I might have taken is about improving your clicks or whatever. The different angle I might be taking is actually centralizing on the product. So in email tools, there's a timer, there's a video, there's all sorts of different things. Well, let's just look at the timer, for example. I can start off my email on day 4 and talk about scarcity. Hey, did you know scarcity is a way to improve, double or triple your conversions? Now, I'm still talking about email tools, but I've already changed their mindset to think that they're thinking about something absolutely different than actually the email tools package, right? So I talk about timers there, for example, and I teach them how timers work. And this is where it's like a half cookie. I call this like a half cookie. When you're teaching him something kind of informative inside the email while promoting to him. So I call this a half cookie, and I'm going to kind of put a little half cookie here. And this is going to be your other half of cookie you're going to learn how to do in a second here. But you're teaching them in a different angle approach when it comes down to it, again, to make sure that they understand that, this is the reason. So you're taking an element out of it. And then on day 5, you can do one of 2 things. You can first start off, you can actually use the day 4 and you can flip it with day 5 if you want to. But day 5 would be another one of the content days, right? So this is, again, a variable email. I call this a variable email because it can drive anything when it comes down to it, from content, video, and everything. And I know you're thinking, again, overwhelmed, possibly thinking, oh, well, what do I talk to them about? What am I doing? But the idea is this, okay? With day 5, again, day 4 or 5, it doesn't matter. On day 5, you're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're going to teach them something, but at the same time, you're going to put it in the PS, or you're going to put it there, hey guys, email tools, something I've been talking to you about the last couple of days. Be transparent about it. I've been talking to you about a couple of days, is closing on tomorrow, or tomorrow's the last day to get it, yada, yada, yada. It's important to make sure you can do that, right? And then the last day here, day 6, is your scarcity day. Scarcity, closing day. People don't like things that are closing. It's important that you understand that. And I'm sure you've been a person, we've all been a person when it comes down to, getting an email that's talking about how something is closing and feeling that scarcity, or feeling that element of not being able to get it. Now, I'm going to show you that you can add a couple little emails to this right here. I'm going to throw these mini emails into here that I'm going to put into place here. And these mini emails are very simple, right? What I'm putting into here are 2 little boxes, and they're mini emails, I call them, because they're refresher emails. And these are closing emails, and you can actually add them to your email sequence when it comes down to it, as far as adding them. And these are optional, absolutely optional, but I like to do them usually once, but you can actually put 2 of them in there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put, I'm going to do 1, and I'm going to do 1 more here. And the idea is very simple. These are just your closing emails. You want to make sure that you're continuously in front of their face, teaching them how to do this, all right? So that's important when it comes down to it, and continue to keep that scarcity alive when you're promoting to somebody, okay? But day 6 is very simple. Day 6 is this. You want to tell the person that you're going to be closing the doors, or this person is closing the doors, or this is your last chance. You don't even have to do that. If they're not actually closing the doors and it's not literally the last chance, this is your last chance. So you can tell them, this is your last time. This is my last email. I'm going to tell you about this. This is the last time I'm going to tell you about this. Whatever it takes to get them to understand that this is scarcity. And this is where you're going to really hammer them down, just basically closing the deal. Now, the days that you're really going to be making the sales, and I want to exemplify this so that you understand. Day 1, I'm going to put X through here, right? Day 1 and day 6, all through these emails. Those are the days that you're going to make the most money out of these email sequence. But the idea is very simple. The reason why I put a bigger X here on day 6 than 1 is a lot of times, if someone does this correctly, you actually can end up making more money on the last day, or more sales on the last day, than you do on the first day. And the reason being is very simple, again, because you've created an element of feeling that they've gone through. You've educated them. If you follow this flow, you've educated them through 6 days of teaching them email marketing. You've educated them. You've introduced it. Not email marketing, but whatever the topic is, but you've introduced them, you've reminded them, you've shown them some variable content, you've taken a different angle and approach, you've again taken more content again with them, and now you're asking them to buy, and close, right? So the idea is very simple. Creating the sequence, making sure you stick with it, and this comes with a very good planning, and that planning may be something that it's going to take you a little bit of work and energy to get to, but the idea is there, and you just need to make sure you do it. This is what I do in my marketing. When I see a product launch or a product I want to promote, I usually generally go, okay, if I want to promote this, what do I have in my arsenal already that I can use for content? That's the first thing I think of. Then I say, all right, let me watch the sales video or sales page and say, what are the different angles that I can approach on this sequence? So then I jump over and start checking out the sequence and looking at how it is, and they start thinking about it. And once I've designed this out, it takes me like 10 minutes, 20 minutes to really just hammer it out. I have my 7 days of content, or 6 or 7 days of content, or my emails that I want to do. And then it's just all about writing email. And we'll talk about those emails and how to write those in the Seinfeld experience and the 3 E's that are coming up in just a few minutes. But that's the 7-day event-based marketing. Now, this could be adjusted for 5 days, 3 days, 12 days. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's just all about understanding that. You see here, I've taken, so if we go back to the cookie system here, I'm going to pick a bright color here and do this, okay? If I look at this, I'm taking a cookie here, I'm taking a cookie here, and I'm taking a cookie here. In these elements here, they've actually had cookies already, half cookies, because you're still taking a different approach, and you have a cookie there, right? So I'm actually taking taking 3 and giving 2 back in the element while I'm doing it. But the reality is, again, I actually forgot about this cookie. There's a cookie here too, right? because if you're pre-warming up and you're giving them information, this is a cookie too. So the ideal situation here with the pre-launch is that you got 2, 3, and 3. You're giving 3 away, taking 3 and giving 3 at the same time. But the reality is you can play with this a little bit, obviously having your list warmed up and understanding who you are and realizing that, sometimes you got to make money. I mean, I tell my list this all the time. You're going to get promoted from me. I'm going to try to sell you something, and you just got to understand I'm doing it for your good, but it's also for my good too, because I'm going to make money off of it. And I say that in my disclaimers and so forth. So it's important that you understand that there's a balance behind this, and that's what you've got to be thinking about. So that's my event-based marketing. 7 days, real simple, a way to design your sequence, a way to plan yourself, a way to plan your email marketing so that you can maximize your money. All right, so as you saw right there, really easy, a 7-day concept that you can use. You can duplicate it over and over in your marketing, and that doesn't limit you. Just remember one thing, what I'm teaching you in email marketing, just because I'm telling you about it in email marketing, doesn't limit you where you do it. You can do it in even social media. We do it actually in our social media. For example, this week, depending on when you're watching this video, of course, we're doing all about engagement week, so it actually fell in exactly right, but each week we have a topic, so everything that we do aligns together. So we try to align everything with our email marketing, our social media, our content on our blog and articles, and everything that we do. So we try to align everything together, and the best way you can do that is basically by having an event or a topic that you're going to focus your audience on. So with that all being said, if you enjoyed this video, as always, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and go below here, subscribe, and of course comment if you've got any questions. Let me know what you're thinking and all that good stuff. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for watching my video. I'm super excited that I got to share this information with you. Not only do I love helping future entrepreneurs and digital marketers out there, but I love to share my content without charging for it. Let's not forget to make sure that you're subscribing under this video. Go ahead and click on that button, and YouTube will let you know every time I release a brand new video. Again, thanks for watching. I can't wait to share more information with you and more great tips and tricks to improving your online business.